One of the biggest challenges we have, I think, is where the kids come from, the homes that they come from. It's gangsters, it's violence, violence in the house, violence outside. Most of them don't get respect at home. They come from single homes where it's only a mom comes home late at night, that type of thing. So that's most of the classes that I teach.
It is out-of-the-box thinking, but it has its rewards at the end of the day. But it means that there has to be a shift in thinking, simply because we need to re-look at the objectives we want to achieve from this whole process.
When you close that door as a teacher, the only thing that matters is the relationship that exists between you and the children you're trying to teach.
They want respect, they want love, and they just need somebody to listen to them. It's not just about coming to school, learning maths and going home. It's about the need to offload. If they come to school, they come with a lot of baggage. And now if I as a teacher sit and I just want them to focus on what I want them to focus, most of the time they can't. So it's up to me to first listen to them, show them that, there's a path between them and me. They can come to me about anything, whether it's a math problem or a problem with another learner or a teacher or even at home.
The role of a parent in a school setup is very, very crucial. Parents need to know what the kids are doing at school. It's easy for us to form some kind of a teamwork, and it's easy for continuity with that student, because what we do here, we are doing it for the kid.
If you've never felt something, you won't know what you're missing out on. So yes, my friends have their parents come watch them play soccer, but I don't really know how it feels. My parents don't have a school relationship with me at all. I have a relationship with my teachers, and that's it.
I sort of noticed in my class when he was actually in grade 9, cues about his behavior, just his demeanor. And somehow I just felt attracted to this child in terms of he may be needing some kind of support. And this child actually had a reputation for being a bad child. And then the general expectation from people outside of his environment was, oh, he's always going to do this wrong. He's always going to do that wrong. And then he believed that and ultimately started performing that way.
Sometimes it just takes one teacher to change someone. Before that, I was in trouble for a lot of things. It was a lot easier for me to ignore my values and my beliefs because the consequences didn't matter much.
And there was an incident outside the classroom. With this incident, there were he said, she said, there were perceptions. And of course, I did see anger in this child for a while. There's so many factors. It's the child's actions, it's the circumstance, and it's how the adults or teachers actually perceive the situation. This young man, he admitted to what he did and what he said, and that his intentions were not unsavory. So I understood, and he just needed somebody to hear him out.
When learners go through a restorative process, that's one of the things that, how do I handle my emotions? When anger comes up, what should I do? And so they learn those kind of things to be able to name how they feel, to be able to express that feeling. And when they learn as they are young, they begin to own every action. And within that, you begin to see appreciation of the other. And because of that, they are able to say, I'm sorry. And if they have never understood emotions, they don't know what the other person is going through. And so that becomes important. And so those are part and parcel of the building blocks within the restorative approach.
I was given the chance to change, whereas if I was expelled, I wouldn't have been given the chance to change. So in this school, I know that they considered my future beyond the incident. they make sure that you know what the consequences are. It was probation, as they called it. So I was forced to not do anything wrong, and that became a habit. What makes a good student is care, because it allows you to have good relationships with everyone around you, and it allows you to do well in the things that you're doing.
You know, in Tando's situation, he had experienced a life where he was judged constantly. So when he came face to face with a different scenario, he was taken aback. Over a period of time, he's responded so well to it. He's fully engaged and he's achieving brilliantly. There's emotional maturity, there's self-confidence, there's self-esteem, and he now believes he's a worthy person. I have learned so much from this situation. It's made me a better parent, and it's made me a better teacher, and it's given me an opportunity to look at myself differently as an educator.
What makes a good parent is doing everything that you can to be there for your child. Not financially, but being there as a parent, as opposed to a sponsor.
My child was involved in an incident at school. Her friends and herself brought liquor to the school. I expected a red letter to say, take your child and leave.
I didn't really think that we would get caught or anything like that. So it was just really, well, am I really in this situation? I was the one that brought the alcohol.
My child in particular took responsibility. She acknowledged that it was her own doing because she could get away with it.
The fact that we got caught, I think we were telling ourselves that let's not blame each other. We all played a role in this and we all got caught together and everything like that. So yeah, and even now we are all still like friends, and we've just helped each other move past that because it was a really hard time.
It was actually a very scary but pleasant experience. It was so gentle, yet very forthright that this is what we are facing and it's a serious matter, but we are still supporting you. So the approach was very personal and it was geared towards this particular problem. It was not like a one-size-fits-all.
If I had gotten like expelled or anything like that, then I would have gone very, very, very downhill. The fact that they decided to keep me and they helped me instead of hating me, it helped so that I could see my own mistakes and I could realize it for myself, so that I could like redeem myself in the process that I'm still in now at the school.
It was the right approach because the first thing that you think of is I'm gonna punish her, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take this away from her. And it actually made us realize that if we do it in that way, we will alienate our own children, and rather try to understand why the child did that and try to support her so that she can get the better results.
As part of our community service and things that we had to do, we went to jail, a women's jail, where they just spoke to us about the bad decisions that they made and how it got them to where they are and all of that. I think most of us cried. Like it really touched us, and it got us, and it got us thinking as well about our own futures. We had to do counseling for 4 weeks. Then as well, we also had to make a presentation to our whole grade about alcohol and the effects that it has and all of those things. I mean, we all know that we're all kids and they can all put themselves in our shoes. So it didn't take long for that whole image of us to pass.
It had a very positive impact because she started to look at herself and realize that there are consequences to actions. And it could have been something worse that she wouldn't have been able to recover from. She acknowledged it has happened, she's sorry, and she'll work hard to regain her reputation.
I think the whole process really, really helped. If I didn't go through what I went through, then I wouldn't be working towards the goals that I am working towards. In terms of my family, I realized that my parents were very, very understanding and they were helpful. Even though they were disappointed, they still wanted to help me. And I also realized that once this thing came out, a lot of other things had to start coming out, and I got much, much, much closer to my mother.
Impact is huge because you work together as a whole school. Restorative justice puts the student back in the classroom. They're not suspended for 5 days, they're not standing out in the corridor, and they're not in the timeout room. They're back in the classroom with that teacher. And teachers who previously would have been angry and punitive and taking things personally now are being more liberated and freer as they educate. They're empowered in their relationships with students. Their relationships with students are stronger and deeper, and so both become a partnership. All right, and that's critical, rather than sitting on either side of the desk, so to speak. You know, it's working together. So I think very much empowered. They can get on with their teaching. They can get on with good teaching. Learning's at the heart of our schools.
You can focus more on the education part of it. You know, I can then just teach, because I don't have to deal with being a judge and a nurse and a psychologist. I can just teach. And that would be the ideal thing to do, because ultimately that's what I want to do. I want to be a teacher. But now I'm more than just a teacher.
It's looking into the future and saying, what do I want to instill in this group of learners? Because when you bring about a restorative approach, you're actually impacting that person and changing how they do things. And so if you look at it in that way, it's long-term investment into the life of a young person. And so if one starts from there, there is more encouragement to continue to train the child in conflict resolution, to continue to train them in restorative approaches, and to continue to help them to understand when they have done wrong, that they need to be able to own up, they need to be able to apologize when they have to, and that there are sometimes consequences come with what one has done. We have already seen a number of schools, a number of teachers being advocates out there and making a difference in the schools where they work. And so it's not easy, but it is possible.